Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing great. And those who are new to my channel, a very warm welcome. I would like you to request you to like, share, and subscribe, and also hit the bell icon for getting notified for more such videos that I post on a weekly basis, mostly on EDI and cloud infrastructure. Having said that, let's get started with our today's session. So, in today's session, I took a very interesting topic. This is something that is not something that I have went over. I actually went over this topic quite a few times, but this is something that I thought would be an interesting topic for folks who are looking for EDI job, or they receive emails from potential recruiters around EDI openings, and how to demystify, right, going through the job description before even you go and submit your resume and you proceed further. The reason why I'm making this video is to help you navigate the uncertainty about an EDI job opening, and then uh, after spending a lot of time in getting interviewed and then going through the HR round, you end up with a problem where you see that, oh, this is not something that I anticipated. Like, this is a contract role, or this is something that they're not looking for a permanent position, or this is something that I didn't expect initially to be, right? So, how to help you avoid those wasted effort, and then you do the due diligence, going through the job description in detail, and be able to then take informed decision whether this is the right job for you, or you should look for some other job openings, right? So having said that, I actually received this email this week in my inbox from a potential recruiter, a company that I know are like providing consulting services in respect to Sterling Integrator. So, having said that, I've actually removed the name of the recruiter, name of the company, to keep it anonymous. But this is just, I've taken the exact copy of the email that I've received, and I will go through this in detail to help you demystify how you would start looking into those job descriptions. So, with that, let me share my screen. Okay. All right. So if you see my screen, I have actually taken that entire email and copy pasted in a Word document. Now, in the title, it's written lead architect at NC, which means they're looking for a lead architect position, and it is based out of NC, which is North Carolina in United States. All right, and it's mentioned, hello Pranjit, this is XXX from ABC company. I've kept it anonymous. Please find below job description or JD. The job role is lead architect. Duration is 3 months. So let's highlight this for a moment. When they say 3 plus months, that means it's a short term role. It is initially for 3 months with a potential um, of maybe getting extended for a few more months. If not, if the project is completed within these 3 months, typically that should be the end of this opening, which means this is not a permanent role that they're looking for. All right, so that's first thing. Now, if you're looking for a short term opening, this might be a perfect one, right? But be very careful about the duration, right? And feel free to reach out to the HR recruiter if you have any uncertainty in respect to understanding of what exactly this 3 plus months means. Are they looking for a full-time opening in their company, and they're placing you to this project, which is probably their end customer's project, for 3 months, and then after that project is done, they're going to deploy you into a different Sterling Integrator project? Is that how it is, or they're just looking for a short-term role, not looking for a full-time employee? They're just taking it as a contract. right, looking for contractors. So we very careful in that and also ask that question to the recruiter. Uh, the second thing is mentioned that the location is North Carolina, but it says remote, which means that this can be performed without traveling to North Carolina. So if you are based out of any other states in United States, you should be able to do the job remotely without traveling to North Carolina or relocating to North Carolina. Now, in the job description, they're saying we're seeking a highly experienced lead architect to spearhead a critical communications migration project. So this is very important. It says critical migration project, right? So this is the keyword. So you need to highlight this. So it's a migration project. So you should have an understanding of migrating, right? Either from one version to another version, either from one product to another product. We don't know that, right? Let's see what this migration is all about. This time, just looking into the first line, it's kind of vague what they're looking for, right? Now, the second line it says this role will be responsible for the end to end architectural design, strategy, and implementation oversight of migrating our existing B2B communications infrastructures from Axway to IBM Sterling B2B Integrator. Now, when I have gone through this second line of the job description, it is very clear to me that the existing the company that is looking for this lead architect, they have Axway for their B2B infrastructure, and they are getting rid of Axway and migrating off from Axway to IBM Sterling B2B integrator. So in that case, the best candidate would be someone who is aware of both Axway and Sterling B2B Integrator. That would be the perfect candidate. The reason is it's not a orange to orange migration, right? The way you write maps, the way you uh, create configurations in Xway is different than IBM Sterling Integrator. So you need to be aware of both of them. If not, then there has to be some kind of learning that you have to do while in this project about how Axway works, and then potentially designing the roadmap of how you're going to migrate the maps, the workflows, the communication setups and everything from Axway to Sterling Integrator, right? And how do you do the cutover and all that? So that's how you start looking into the job description. Now, the second thing is the successful candidates will possess deep technical expertise. So yeah, so even before like going through the next line, okay, I assume that they are looking for someone who is aware of both Axway and IBM Sterling Integrator, right? Which is evident, right? If you're not familiar with both of the product, it is going to be a tough one for you. Now, going into the responsibilities, it says strategic leadership. Define the overall technical vision, strategy, roadmap for the Axway to Sterling Integrated Migration projects, focusing on AS2, SFTP, FTP communication. That means they typically use these three protocols. They're looking for a roadmap, which means how are you going to handle the migration of the maps, how are you going to migrate the communication related configuration from XP to Sterling Integrator. There might be some workflows or business process in Sterling B2B Integrator that we talk about. Maybe in XWay, okay, you might have similar stuffs that you need to migrate off from XWay and rewrite in Sterling Integrator. There is no tool that does it automatically. This has to be done manually. You have to code or design the business process manually, things like that. So how do you do that? You have to create those roadmap, right, or the source and a target, and what is the approach, right, so that then that pr- uh, the step that you have highlighted is executed one after another for a smooth migration project. So you should be aware of that. Architectural design the target architecture on Sterling Integrator, ensuring scalability, security, performance. This includes communication protocols, data flow patterns, integration point. So this kind of like needs a very well versed uh, resource who is aware of not only the application layer of Sterling B2B integrator, how to create workflows, how to create maps, how to create configurations, but also should uh, be able to help the infrastructure team to set up the IBM Sterling integrator platform as well. So they should be aware of like some admin related task on the Sterling integrator as well, right? So that's very critical. The next one is saying technical planning. Develop a detailed technical migration plan, include phase migration, cutover plans. Typically, any migration project needs this kind of expertise, right? This is not something like related to Sterling integrator only, right? So it's expected. Leverage deep technical knowledge of both Expo and Sterling integrator. So it's the same thing that we discussed in the job description, pretty much. So you should be aware of both the platforms. Implementation oversight, right? Provide technical guidance and oversight to the development and implementation teams throughout the migration process, right? So you all not only uh, designed the overall migration plan, but also making sure that the migration is done according to all the steps that you have listed, approved, right, and giving like providing technical guidance as and when the dev team needs, right? Trading partner integration. So definitely, if you can realize, let's say they have like 100 external trading partners, every one of them is going to get impacted, right? Because they're actually changing their entire B2B platform. So all the connections has to be re-established, reconfigured into Sterling integrator. So how do you coordinate with the trading partner teams? How do you coordinate the cutover? How do you do the testing? How do you make sure the firewall rules are in place, right? All those things has to be taken care of during the trading partner integration steps. Automation strategy. It says identify opportunities for automation in the migration process. Like, is there a way you can help in like migrating configurations, right? Or missing some of the testing or deployment in an automated way, right? Like CI/CD. Is there a way you can help automation, like removing some of the heavy lifting or doing things manually, right? So you have to give some kind of guidance over there. Performance optimization, definitely making sure the infrastructure on which Sterling B2B integrator environment is hosted is able to handle the scale of the number of business processes that gets executed, the number of files that gets executed, right? And it should be able to provide optimal performance. So you should, as I mentioned, you should be aware of the infrastructure and the application layer, both of them, right, hand in hand. Security architecture, you need to make sure you're aware of the certificate management, the key management process, the authentication mechanisms, right? Password based, key based, right? Those kind of things. So you should be aware of all the security protocols and the security guidelines and the configuration that are needed, right? In respect to SFTP or AS2, things like that. Risk management, any migration project has a typical risk. You need to make sure that there is a proper risk management, risk analysis, right? High, medium, low, and then how do you remediate those if you encounter risk, things like the documentation. You need to be able to create and maintain like technical documentation, architecture diagrams, the design specifications that you author, right, and the migration procedure. So documentation is pretty heavy because once, like let's say after 3 months you're gone from this project, someone is going to handle, someone is going to manage the infrastructure and the application. So they should, if they encounter some challenges, they encounter some ambiguity, okay, in respect to understanding, they should be able to go to the documentation, quickly look up and see and get guidelines, right, or guidance. So that is very important to keep that trail in the documentation. Collaboration, as mentioned, you should be able to like collaborate with not only your application team but IT infrastructure, the security team, the app dev team, and the business stakeholders, right, to ensure that the alignment is there. You're giving a regular status update, right, and also making sure the project is delivered successfully. Vendor management, you have to also work with the IBM product team, right, so that in case there are any, or not only IBM product team, like relevant vendors, like it can be a Unix team, it can be your database product team, right? You need to ensure that all uh, the prerequisites are made. If there are any challenges in respect to the prerequisite for hosting the Sterling B2B integrator platform, you need to be able to open different tickets with the relevant product team, and then also making sure they are fixed or they get hot fixes or any kind of patches that needs to be applied, right? So you need to be able to do that efficiently. Mentorship, like not only uh, ensuring this project is delivered successfully, the thing is that you should be able to then train your junior team members, because if you're gone from the project, they should be able to handle it, right? Or they should be able to scale up. Now that's kind of the detail on the response bit. I hope this was useful to you. Now the next thing they're looking for is qualifications, like typically computer science, IT, or any related field. Master's degree preferred, that's not a big concern. You can ignore that. Minimum 8+ years of experience with strong focus on EDI and secure file transfer protocol. That is very common. Um, they also need expertise in BPML, Java, administration, configuration, pretty much anything. Installing integrator is what they need a resource in, right? They need to be able to architect and implement complex B2B integration solutions, deep understanding of AS2S, FTP, FTP, HTTPS. They have ANSI external artifact looks like, so they need someone who has strong knowledge of EDI standards. SSL TLS, you should be able to have good understanding on this, because you're going to set up like AS2 protocols, right? So you need to be aware of those things. Uh, Familiar with cloud-based integration platforms and concept. This is something that is coming pretty often these days. So you should, as I mentioned, like even like in last session, I kind of showed you AWS Transfer Family, which is one of the cloud native integration platforms. So you should be able to like maybe integrate with cloud-based MFT platforms as well, right? So on-prem and cloud, how do you integrate? You need to have that understanding. Some kind of scripting language and automation tools like Python, shell scripting is good to have. Mm, Analytical problem solving or troubleshooting, that's pretty much needed across the entire life cycle of this migration project. Communication, leadership, both verbal and written and interpersonal, that are always needed. And yeah, pretty much like the best is if you have any experience in complex technical migration, but that's a benefit of it, right? Preferred qualification, IBM certified solution architect, Sterling Beta. There is nothing like IBM certified solution architect, to be very honest, right? This is something, this is very vague. There is no certificate available, okay, around Sterling Integrator. There used to be one, but there isn't any right now. So you can ignore this and you can question this. Like, can you show me which Sterling Integrator certificate you are referring to? Because I don't think there's anything available in the market around Sterling Beta that I can get certified, even if I'm not, right? Or are you talking about the older one? Knowledge of API integration and concepts and technologies. This is something like not super important. You can ignore this for the time being. Okay, and as that's why it is mentioned preferred qualification, not a mandatory or a required qualification. So, having said that, I hope this was useful, like to kind of like help you demystify any job description, any qualification that they need when any job openings comes in your inbox, right, from different recruiters, and will help you identify whether this is something that you're super efficient in. Because like if, let's say for example, you are getting started on EDI, and then like you're just doing mapping, you have never done business process development, you have never installed selling B2B integrator, you have never worked on any migration project, this job opening is not for you, right? So just don't jump and like apply for this. That's my honest feedback to all of you, and don't waste your time on this kind of job openings. Whether you find certain job openings where they're looking for a dev person, right, who has experience in mapping. Whereas if someone has like pretty good experience across the software, across the all the different areas within Stellar B2B integrator, even if that person has no experience in Axway, or at least knows like the very high level understanding of Axway, they can still apply. Because like you don't need to know more about Axway. Like uh, it's better to have it, but doesn't mean that that's kind of a showstopper. So you can still apply for it, and you can tell like I know Axway on a high level, but I know Sterling B2B in and out, and I should be able to like quickly uh, learn, right, the nitty gritty of like how Axio works, and be able to then drive the migration project. So you can definitely mention that, right? So I think those kind of folks, okay, might be a good uh, fit for this kind of job openings. So yeah, please let me know in your comment section if you have any questions around any job openings. Feel free to like maybe Let me know if you're looking for any job openings and you want to like discuss with me. Happy to kind of maybe have a live session where I can like, if you have any questions, we can go over them one after another. We can have a question answer session as well. I can schedule that if I see more number of folks are interested in maybe a live session with me instead of this ad hoc or on demand videos that I usually post. And those folks who are new to my channel, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for getting notified. And I'll see you next week. Thank you.